Hello and welcome to the Party Center Speaks podcast. This is the podcast for family entertainment center and event venue owners, operators, managers, and staffers looking to grow their business. Want to learn more about increasing booking parties or improving facility operations? This is the podcast for you. My name is Laura Cañellas and I'm the marketing manager here at Party Center Software. In this episode, we're going to share audio from our webinar on event preparation, 3 ways to increase business during the holidays. We hope you enjoy this presentation.
Without further ado, thank you from Party Center Software for being here with us. I can't wait to hear what this is Kim Wheeler. She is a sales and training specialist for Trainertainment. I can't wait to hear what she has to say about all things sales, growth, business development when it comes to preparing for busy season and events and things of that nature. Now, Kim has been in the industry for about 5 years, and the last 2 alone, she's helped over 1,000 businesses to grow. She's trained them.
From not businesses, but I've definitely trained over 1,000 that have worked within. Let me clear that up. Maybe Trainertainment as a whole, but yeah.
Yes, people within the businesses, whether it's employees at the business or owners, managers, salespeople, event coordinators, all that good stuff. And now, Kim, you help people all the way from hiring to training. Tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Absolutely. Yeah, Trainertainment is the leading coaching and training company within the industry. We do everything from hiring events all the way up to business coaching. So we coach businesses, we coach sales teams. We really are in the business as well of growing businesses and growing people. So it's a lot of fun. We're fun training with serious results. So
I love it. I love it. And I have actually had the pleasure of attending a Trainertainment, your business growth event. You have 4 events that you run per year, 2 business growth and 2 sales growth. So the sales ones are focused more on sales, business focused more on the business as a whole. And I really enjoyed the experience that I had. I know Tanya from our team went to the last event that you guys had in a pretty warm place. Was it Arizona?
Yeah.
In the summer, but I heard that it was awesome. And you guys talked
really
about
good.
All things sales.
Yeah, that was an advanced sales conference. So we really did focus more on groups and bringing those large groups into your center. It was fun.
Cool. Good deal. Well, today, just to set the context for today's conversation, we're talking about events, preparing for busy season, where it's already almost October. Next week is October. I can't believe it. It's kind of crazy to think that the year's almost over. I feel like it just started.
I know.
And as we go into the end of the year, now is the perfect time to plan for next year. A lot of people wait until January to do their planning. I would definitely recommend getting started now in the end of September, October, having your plans in place before you go into the new year. You're going to be less overwhelmed when you go into that new year. But we want to be prepared as we're going into the busy season as well. So Kim, you're going to share a bunch of great stuff on that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
All right.
Kim's going to be sharing her screen. She's got some awesome slides to go through, and we're just going to get this all worked out.
Yeah.
We're going to be ready for the season.
We're
going to be ready for next year by the end of this.
Absolutely. Sorry, I apologize. My screen is not letting me. There it goes. But you can't see it yet, can you?
Not yet. No problem.
Okay.
Take your time.
Yeah. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Now,
Perfect.
Is it beautiful now? It's beautiful now.
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. I love it.
Well, thank you so much. I'm excited to talk about this stuff today. We, with our sales teams have been talking about getting ready for the holidays since July. So we definitely have a lot of things to try to help get everybody ready. Rebecca, you and I discussed a little bit earlier about, the industry as a whole. We've got small centers, we've got large centers, we've got huge sales teams, we have call centers. And so I'm just curious, I know you said you could do a poll, if you would just kind of run a quick poll for me and see
All right.
What kind of,
yeah. So I have just launched a poll for everybody.
Sorry, I'm talking my bad.
No, it's okay. Go for it. We just launched that poll here. So if you guys could just answer the question, what best describes your selling capacity or event booking capability. And then you'll see those options there. I have a party or event coordinator. I have a salesperson. I have a sales team, or we all sell. You don't have a dedicated salesperson or coordinator. So we'll give that a minute for everybody to kind of jump in there. I see some results coming in. Very, very interesting. We have kind of two ends of the spectrum going on at the moment.
Nice. I'm curious to know. It's always interesting because, you know, we work with all sizes of centers. So and sometimes it's whoever picks up the phone, you know, that takes the call, and we want to try to help maximize that revenue and those group sales and holiday events. So
absolutely,
I'm excited.
So we've got 58% of those that are in the webinar 60% have voted. So I'll give it 2 more seconds. Throw your vote in, guys. And then I'm going to end the poll and we can see the results here.
Beautiful.
62%. All right. I don't want to leave anybody out. Okay.
I guess it popped up on mine. I didn't answer. So
you better answer. No, I guess it doesn't matter. All right. I'm going to do a three countdown. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Boom. All right. So 50% of y'all said they have a party or event coordinator.
Nice. Okay.
The next biggest number is 41%. We all sell, no dedicated salesperson or coordinator. 6% said that they have a sales team, and 3% have a salesperson. So I'm going to go ahead and share those results with you guys. You should be able to see that right in front of you there. You guys see that? Can you see that, Kim?
Yeah, I can see it.
Cool.
All right.
So there you go. And I hope that provides you some good context moving forward of where people stand.
Yeah, absolutely. And so guys, as I move forward, please feel free to ask questions, type them in the chat box. Rebecca, you said you helped me out with trying to see those and all that. So I'll launch right into this. So event preparation, I went and changed a word there. I changed it to 3 keys to increase the business at your facility through the holiday season. So as we know that you guys have all worked hard in whatever capacity your sales team or people or person or your center has done. You've got sales coming in and holiday events coming in, and everything's going to start to get a little crazy in Q4. So the things that we're going to talk about today are really maximizing those opportunities for new connections with the holiday events that are coming in and the new business, because some of those people, Beth always tells the story about her kids never went roller skating because they were never invited to a party at a roller rink. So that gives you an idea of all the new people that are going to be in your center, and you really want to capture, you know, their attention and be able to follow up and get more business from the business you already have. So we will talk about opportunities for new connections, increasing the increase in new business, creating return business, and asking for referrals, because that's a big piece. The second key is keeping the end and the beginning in sight. We want to make sure we're reflecting on all the things great and that could be greater in 2019, and then setting smart goals. We'll talk about what that means for next year. And then keeping processes in place. That's a year-round deal, right? But we really, during the holidays when we're really busy, keeping your processes in place regarding your sales, your sales versus, and operations, and time management is going to be a big piece here. And then we're going to talk a little bit about tracking with your CRM. So we'll dive right in here. So opportunities for new connections. So we're coming into the fourth quarter, right? And games are won in the fourth quarter. Sometimes they're won in the first quarter if you follow a bad team, but most of the time they're won in the fourth quarter. So we want to know, and we want to set you guys up to win, but are you guys ready to win the fourth quarter and be able to really be a champ for 2019? So heading into prepping for the holidays now, I struggled with this slide. I almost wanted to put cross out now and say yesterday, because we gotta be ready to go. But if you haven't, we can get you going now too with some of these tips that we'll give you. So ready, set, go. Everybody, when you get off the webinar, you got to go do all these things. So we want your salespeople or your your event coordinators, whoever it is, to really close any of those pending quotes. Follow up with people that have stuff out there, get them there. You know, a really good way to kind of put out some urgency there is just to say, hey, we're filling up really fast and we want to make sure that we got you in here and you were still able to have your party. We know it's going to be awesome. And I can send this over to you, send it back to me, and we'll get you running. So it's real, you know, it's really important that we close those quotes. And checking your inventory. When I say checking your inventory for sales and within your center, we're talking about looking at the space that you have. So looking at where you have things booked, what space do you have, evaluating your space for birthdays. Anybody that picks up your phone at your center should be able to easily find out what space they have available and how they can book it and who they need to send it on to. They need to have all that information. So check your inventory where you're at. If you are booked for the holidays, because I've heard that that's happened, but if you're booked for the holidays and you're going, I don't know what to do, you got to start from that pipeline. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then book more holiday parties. Keep trying to go. Look at space. If you have a bowling center, can you put a group at the end of a lane? You know, get a little bit creative. You have a bar. Is that a space where you can put people? So we definitely are not wanting to turn business away, right? So we want to try to figure out how we can do it. And that's why the selling part of this is important. If someone calls and asks if you have a date available, you got to keep the conversation going and not just say no. So if we get them excited about it, they'll still book. All right. Do I need to stop for any questions or anything so far?
I don't see any questions yet, but Kim, I actually did have a quick little comment. This actually came from a customer of Megan's who did something really cool. And I don't know if we mentioned this on the last webinar or not, but they were doing open houses for holidays starting in September, where they, at the beginning of September, were having people come in to see the space and look at their package options for the holidays. I thought that was a really cool idea.
It is, and we actually start in July with our coaching teams. We'll do a holiday in July. You know, we try to stay away from the word Christmas as much, you know, but we'll talk about a holiday in July and getting that stuff together and start reaching out. Those large companies that have money, you know, that they have set aside for this, I stay away from the word budget because we don't use it, but knowing what their budget, you know, have that money set aside, we'll start looking for places that far out. So we definitely want to start planning something like that, something where we can showcase what we can provide to our customers and what kind of service and all the details that they can expect for having their party with us. So absolutely, that's a wonderful idea. And it's probably a little late in the game now, but it's never too late to try, right? You've got stuff that you can showcase throughout the entire year. I actually had a client that did it in July, but she set up different tables as different types of events they could have. So one table was all about team building, and one table was set up beautifully for Christmas and another holiday, and then another table was set up, you know, for a kid's birthday party. So there's a lot of different ideas out there. So that's a really good point. Thank you for bringing that up.
Cool, I love it.
So you guys got to see my little guy here. One of the big things with having all these people in your facility at this time is really connecting with them and building those relationships. So great sales is, you know, so much about helping people. It's also about building relationships. So we definitely want to make sure you are making confirmation calls to all of your parties that are booked. That's birthdays and groups. We want to make sure that everything is going to go smooth. It's another chance to connect and really build that relationship with that customer and keep them coming back. So confirmation calls, if you're not already doing them, definitely want to start with, you know, doing those. It also gives your operations team really good, you know, view of what they're going to expect. A personal introduction. So if you are able to, if you're a salesperson or you have someone that can come in and say, hey, my name's Kim. I helped you book the event. I'm so excited that you're here. Here is Rebecca. She is going to be taking over for the evening and we'll take care of you. And I will check back with you on Monday. It's always good. You know that it's not always possible. So not a big deal if you can't, but it is definitely a big piece if you're able to do that. Continues to really, that connection. I know I'm going to say it a million times in this call, but it really does build that connection. And follow up. I am so serious about follow up. This is my serious face because it is so important. It really is. We were on our coaching call with all of our coaches at Trainer Entertainment this morning, and they're like, that's your superpower, Kim. And I'm like, I do. I follow up. You're going to, I'm checking back. I never say check in, but, I call back. Even just to say, hey, I just haven't talked to you in a while. How's everything going? But it's also a really easy way to get yourself pumped up to make those other colder calls that you have to make. So, but following up after holiday events is a big deal. That way we're going to find out what went great. Was it fabulous? Was it wonderful? Was there anything we can improve on? And it's a great time to ask for referrals. One of the things that salespeople forget to do, because we're moving fast, we're looking at numbers, we're trying to get on to the next thing to hit our goals, ask for referrals. And people love to give referrals. And so just asking for them is a big deal. And that is how you can really maximize. It's my guy that's got his fist. Really bringing in new business development with the people that are already in your building. It's a big piece, that follow up and asking for referrals. So many people are in there, and they're going to bring their spouses, right? And their spouses may work somewhere else. And I mean, there's just, it's endless. Everything is endless. So it's great. I get excited about it. I'm with you. I really love sales and I get really excited about it. Just a couple of few statistics that really kind of stand out to salespeople. 48% of salespeople don't follow up. Like, is that not, that's bananas. Like if you're following up, you are already 52% ahead, right? Like, or 48%. Math is not my thing. And only 10% make more than 3 contacts. Now with birthdays, you're looking at probably 1 to 3 contacts to get a birthday booked. It's going to be a little bit easier to get those birthdays, but with groups, it can take more than that. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. So you absolutely cannot give up with one call, with one call. If you get it on the first, now high five yourself, because it's pretty awesome. It doesn't happen very often, but 5% and only 5% are made on the third contact. This is my favorite one. 80% of sales are made between the 5th through the 12th contact. So do not give up. There is always someone to call. There's always someone to call again. So there is a lot of ways to do that. But following up, when we were talking about the group events, in context to this too, is really following up to find out how it was, continuing that relationship and connection. But overall, keep calling people, because you've got to keep calling to keep building that pipeline. So we mentioned referrals, and I love referrals because it means that it's a warm call. And if you love to make cold calls, then I'm super proud of you. But I love to try to make all my calls as warm as I possibly can. So referrals are going to really begin with, so where do you start? Start with you. You guys, ask yourself, who do I know? Who do you know with maybe a gym that you go to, or your kids groups, or your kids' friends' parents? I was trying to get that out. But churches, any of that. Think about, who do you know that you could mention this to? The next one is going to be your guests, the people that are in there. You guys really want to have flyers and marketing material out there for your birthdays, for other events, for team building. Having all those things out while people are in your building. Groups bring in people that they've got families. They may not have their kids there, but they're seeing this place as maybe a place their kids could have a birthday party. When you bring in kids for birthday parties and those parents are coming to pick up those kids, we want to be able to talk about or have material out that they can pick up for group events. And I love this picture because people are like so excited to dab. And I think, like, would it not be so easy to go up and be like, hey, who wants to book another event here? It'd be so awesome. One of my coaching clients booked their 3rd event with the same company throughout this year and the other day, and I was really excited about that because they've continued to connect and build that relationship. So when we follow up, we want to be like, hey, if they had a great time, which I know they will, we want to say, if you know of anybody else that is looking to have, an event like yours, please give me a call and let me know, or pass them on to me, send an email. A lot of large companies will have an event in each department. So their marketing department might have a holiday event, and then another department. So there's all kinds of ways out there to really grab these people. And your vendors, I think so many people forget about the vendors that come in. We've got people coming in delivering soda and food and all these things. And we want to, well, first we want to make friends with them because they bring us the things we need, right? So we want to be friends with them anyways, but we want to find out if their company has events. Does your, and that's an easy one to ask. So do they, and the other thing is, guys, we know they know people. They are in and out of businesses all day long. So we want to talk to them, make them our friends, work that little sales muscle you've got there to make sure that you're getting everything you can out of your vendors. And then again, your biggest fans, these people that having that stuff out, talking about birthdays, and even in just a mention to someone that gave you a no, not right now. And when I say no, not right now, it's you'll get no's from people for events, for all kinds of things. But if you keep that relationship going, it's just a no, not right now. And when the time is right, you want to be the first person on their mind to call. So continuing, hey, Megan, thank you so much. I know you're not going to have the event here, but keep us in mind. We do birthday parties and team building, and I'd love to check back in with you in about 6 months. Is that okay? And there, we built the relationship. We got it. I'm going to call Megan back in 6 months. She's going to book an event with me, or maybe hear from her before then. And again, like I said, any way to get past that gatekeeper, I'm telling you, it's so great to be like, can you put me through to Megan, please? I know her friend. It's good. So all we got to do is ask, right? That's the only thing, is ask for that referral. And the last piece, I mentioned LinkedIn here, and this is really huge. And I've asked Rebecca to do another poll here because LinkedIn is a huge tool for sales, and it can be used for connections, to post the events that you've had and grow your network. Because if you can post that you had Google's holiday party and you tag them in it, more of their people are going to see it, more of their connections will see it if they like it. It's such a valuable tool, and you always want to link with any inbound and outbound sale or connection.
Absolutely. And I did launch that poll. We've got some responses coming in. So I'll let people answer, and I'll let you talk a little bit about more about LinkedIn. But LinkedIn is an awesome tool, especially if your audience is that corporate environment. If you're looking to get corporate parties in your event space, team building, that type of thing.
Absolutely.
That's where all the business folks are these days.
It really is. I had a guy that said he really uses LinkedIn, and he'll send an email, a message through LinkedIn that just says, hey, I'm really looking to connect with other local businesses. And really, that's what we're all trying to do, right? So it just kind of using the right words there really made it seem a little less salesy. I hate saying that because, I'm a salesperson, and I don't like people to think of me as, when like their shoulders go back and they prepare for battle when they see me coming. That's not the way. If good sales is about helping people, and that's what we're here to do. But LinkedIn is just amazing. If you go on there and follow some other entertainment centers, you'll see that they post, loved having Google here this weekend. It was great. Google us to book your next event. I don't know, it's a bad joke to throw in there.
All right, well, I'm going to end this poll, and I'll share the results with everybody here. A surprising amount of people responded, what is LinkedIn? So wow. I don't know if they were joking or if they're serious, but why don't you share what is LinkedIn for those that might not know?
Man, yeah. LinkedIn, man, how do I even begin to tell about LinkedIn? LinkedIn is a professional social media platform for designed to connect people within businesses. So you're not going on there and finding out about someone's cat that ate something, right? Like maybe, but you shouldn't. So it really connects businesses and people. People use it to find jobs within businesses. Really, your center should have its own page. That's always, the way we want to post things. And so I don't know if that's even a good way to explain what LinkedIn is, but you should have a LinkedIn account. You can read articles about different things. You can write articles. It's a really awesome tool.
Definitely. I would say that there's a little bit of feedback. I would say that there are definitely two sides to LinkedIn. There's the personal side and the professional side.
Right.
Back in the day when LinkedIn first started, it was very much used as a personal resume site for people that wanted to get new jobs. They could literally have their resume online and other people could go look at that. Now it's seen more as an opportunity in an area for you to be a subject matter expert in what it is that you do for a living. So if you own a facility, if you own a trampoline park, your personal page is an opportunity to show your passion for your business and for being an entrepreneur and your history and how you got to where you are. And then from the company side, there are also company pages. Like you mentioned, if you have a business page for your company on there, because people are searching for it. And it's also a great tool for if you're hiring, if you're looking for people, those new potential employees are going to go on LinkedIn to that company page. They want to see who works there, who's worked there in the past. You know, is this a page that a lot of people follow? Are people interested in this organization? So there's a lot of different sides to LinkedIn. If you're not on it, like Kim said, jump on there and get started. There's a ton of different videos, tutorials, webinars, things on how to grow in LinkedIn and how to learn more about it. And you can contact Kim or contact me if you want to learn more about LinkedIn.
Yeah, and connect with me, Kim Wheeler. No, I'm just kidding. But it's also, we share things from, especially within our industry. I think it's so cool how we all can share, about maybe an article that Cam has posted or something like that, and share and really continue to connect. So it is a very valuable tool on so many different levels. You said that much better than I did. So thank you, Rebecca.
We do have a question here too, Kim,
Sure.
from Cassidy. How do you suggest utilizing LinkedIn for multi-location national company?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, I would definitely have a main page, and then as your salespeople are linked to, or salespeople, or anyone within your business, because here's a big thing is everyone in your company is either selling or unselling at all times. So keep that in mind, whether you have a sales team or anything, everybody is selling or unselling. So I would say having a main page, posting and saying, if you're posting about an event, you can always say, this is at our Boston, Massachusetts location, right? Or had a great time at our Sacramento location, because overall, it's just going to get that attention. Urban Air uses LinkedIn very well. Michael Browning is the CEO. He will post about all of his openings that are coming up, about great things that are going on, and people follow him as well as the corporate LinkedIn or Urban Air page, and you can see all kinds of things that are going on. So that is one company that you can, or center or venture park that you can go look at and get a really good idea of a great way to use it. Post videos of the openings. It's pretty awesome. I hope that answered a little bit of your question.
Good deal. Thank you, Kim.
No problem.
I'll go ahead and close out this poll for you unless you wanted to speak to any of these other responses.
It's your call. I'll let you. I don't want to ignore any questions, but if it's a question.
No. There weren't any other questions. I just meant on the
it
poll.
looked like.
Sorry about that.
No, I'm good. Sorry, my bad. So moving forward, we want to keep the end and the beginning in sight. And when I say that, what I'm talking about is reflecting on 2019 and looking into 2020. We were talking a little bit before the webinar started about reports that can be run through Party Center software, because we really want to look back and see what events were held. What were your big months that you had a lot of events? What is your busier time of year? I could give you statistics and about overall in the industry, but if you're using Party Center, why not pull it up for yourself, right? Rebecca, you showed me some reports even. I don't know if you want to whip that out.
Yeah, sure. Sure. I will throw them up on the screen here.
Okay.
Real quick, and then we'll switch back. All right. Can you see this? See my screen here?
Yes, I can.
All right. So this is from our 2018 online booking study, where we pulled data from folks who were booking parties on Party Center software. So just like Kim mentioned, we recommend pulling this data for yourself from your own facility so that you can get better data on who's visiting your facility. But this is kind of an average from all of those facilities. So you can see that the majority of those parties were between 4 and 6 year olds, and then from 7 and 9 year olds. So if you wanted to run a really great campaign, I would suggest going for that age range. Or if you've got some parents that have a party for kids between 1 and 3, some people like to skip a year. So they'll say, let's look for those 2 year olds. And then start to send them emails about for their 4th birthday party or their 5th birthday party. You can be that specific and granular in your marketing and sales efforts. I'd say go for it. When parties are booked, this is really interesting data too. Less than a week. The majority of parties are booked less than a week out. So that means people love to be late to the game. 1 to 2 weeks is that second one, and then 4 to 8 weeks. So people are either kind of last minute or they're planning pretty far in advance. So making sure that you have stuff available is great if you have the room, but of course booking things up ahead of time is even better. But again, pull this data for yourself to see how quickly people are booking parties. If they book at the last minute, you may want to run some Facebook ads or consider doing some online campaigns to get people through your door for those last minute folks. Or some advice that a manager at an FEC gave me that was really cool. She said, when it's really slow and it's really dead, I pick up the phone. She uses her report. She pulls out folks that had parties, and sometimes she'll go back 2 years instead of back 1 year because they're more likely to skip a year. And she'll just pick up the phone and start cold calling to fill in those dates if she's got slots. Then months of the year, the majority are January. Most of those parties, so you've got some hot months there: January, September, October, November. March is also pretty heavy. But then you'll see from May through August kind of slows down. So that's a really good time to focus on efforts that can ramp things up, to start to consider, like you said, doing these open houses or thinking of other events that you can do that may not be as standard as a birthday party, like in the summer, having summer camps come in. A lot of folks focus on that, or focusing on corporate, having team building events during that time of the year. Days of the week, another thing to consider. Monday, most parties are booked on Mondays. While most of us don't like Mondays, Mondays are a great day for you guys to get parties booked. So Mondays, and then you'll see as it goes through the week, it kind of drops off quite a bit. So really capitalize on those Mondays. Again, if you're using Facebook ads or advertising, that's a good time to do, is have your ads queue up on a Monday, because those moms are booking last minute on a Monday. And I say moms because we did a demographic study a couple slides back. 80% of parties are booked by moms, females. So you really want to look at your target market though. Take your own data, use your own data. This is ours from an overall perspective, and then time.
I love this because we talk about this a lot about moms are booking it on their lunch breaks. Those are, look at and Mondays, look, we're all thinking about the week in advance and we're going, oh my God, my kid's birthday is this week and I've done nothing. So not the good moms like that. So, but I love to see that because it shows exactly that, right in that lunchtime is your max time there.
Oh yeah, Mondays at lunchtime. And that's when you remember that you needed to do something, right? You get to work on Monday. Oh my gosh. I forgot to book my kid's party that's on Saturday.
Yeah. That's
or you were doing research and kind of got out of hand. So yeah, these were the ones I wanted to show you. We'll send you guys a link to the online booking study so that you can see all of the stats from this study. But Kim, I'll let you take it back over here.
All right.
We'll send that in the follow-up, which hopefully you guys will find really helpful. But like Kim said, make sure to pull your own reports as well, so you can really get a good feel for your market.
Absolutely. And you said, your client or customer said, when it's slow to do the past party outreach, I would say you need to make time to do past party outreach about 30 to 45 days prior to, you can pull that report of when people had parties last year and start calling those people and just, we're not calling to sell. I mean, we are, but not like that. We're calling because we want to continue to connect and say, hey, we see Johnny's birthday is coming up in about a month, and you guys partied with us last year. We wanted to be the first to tell Johnny happy birthday and see what you guys are planning for this year. I mean, it's that simple. And more than likely, they're going to go, oh my gosh, I haven't even thought about it. But now, guess who's going to be at top of mind?
Definitely. And if you have multi-attractions, what a lot of people do too is they have different packages so that every year it's not the same party. So if you have 3 attractions, for example, you do mini golf, you have a ropes course, you have laser tag, whatever the case is, if you break it up a little bit or have the party formatted in a different way, you're coming at them with something new that they haven't done yet. So it kind of makes it a little more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Or there's people like me with 5 kids that have different kids that need to have birthday parties throughout the year, right? So Some of them aren't having parties anymore. But, so to really see where you want to go, we got to look back to see where we were, right? So we want to reflect on what did we accomplish this year professionally? What were those events that you worked really hard to book, and you went back and forth and you kind of threw your head down in your hands at some point and thought they're never going to book the event, and then you got it because you continued to follow up, you know, or did you get a promotion? Just looking at what happened last year. You also really need to look at what did you accomplish in 2019 personally, because when we're accomplishing things and we're happy in our personal life, it will, and we're feeling successful in our personal world and life, moving forward into our professional life, we're going to feel, you know, really more motivated to really hit that, those goals as well. And so looking back and seeing those trends and where can we go and how are we going to get there is where we're headed right now. So we want to start to plan our SMART goals. And when I say SMART goals, they are SMART as in, I guess, the smart way, but we want to talk about them being specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. I cannot emphasize how much this really makes a difference with the goals that you set and the way that you're going to get there. Because if you are a $1 million center and you say, I want to be a $10 million center, well, that is awesome. But it probably is going to happen next year, right? So we want to set, and we want to know how are we going to get there. We can't just, I mean, we definitely want to shoot for the moon. I don't want to take anybody's like excitement out of that, but we want to make sure we're setting these goals that are specific and measurable. If you said, I want to grow my group sales in 2020, that's not really, that's a great goal, but it's not a SMART goal. But if we said, I want to grow our Q1 sales by 10% over last year by the end of Q1, that gives us measurable, time-based, relevant, or grow it. I didn't say by how much. We want to grow it by 5%, you know. So that gives you all, that hits the specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. So think about that as you're setting goals. Any questions on the SMART goals there? I'm so used to stopping and asking for questions, and so it's hard to stop doing that.
No questions yet, but if
okay.
you do have questions, throw them in and Kim will get to them.
Thank you. So the best way to get to your goals, right? Your goals are we call them macro goals, right? They're big, they're huge, they're out there, but we've got to do little tiny steps to get there. So macro goals, micro quotas, right? Goals are the big picture that we want to accomplish someday. Your quotas and key performance indicators, I'll talk about in a second, are the minimum amounts of work you've got to do every day to get to that goal, right? It makes things so much easier when you think about it like that. I'm listening to a book by Mel Robbins right now, and she talks about the little Lego blocks that you're adding to your goal. If you think about building the entire thing, it gets a little bit overwhelming, but if you just add a little Lego block every day, it makes things a little bit easier. And I loved that little example there. So key performance indicators, I'm sorry, I clicked through on motivation too quick. I was too motivated. Key performance indicators are things that are going to get you, those are those tiny things that we want to set, those tiny goals that are going to lead us down the path to our goal. So they help motivate you. You know, each week Traintertainment doesn't train and coach anything that we don't do within our own business. So I'm responsible every week to say, how many outbound calls did I have? How many meaningful conversations and all those things. And those are my key performance indicators to show if I'm going to make it to my goal. They help you see the big picture. They take tiny steps that stay on the screen for tiny amounts of time. You get to own your own triumphs and really celebrate, and you really should. You've got to celebrate those good things. When you make a sale, man, if there's nobody in the room to high five yourself or ring a bell or something. It's really exciting. And especially when you hit those goals, it gives you visibility of where you are and where you need to go. It helps hold you accountable to those goals. And we've all got to be accountable. Every person in the business needs to be held accountable. And again, celebrating those memorable moments is a big piece. We definitely want to hit our goal, but we've got to do it by building those little Lego blocks. And so I wanted to give an example of kind of what I mean by key performance indicators here. To grow your sales, what is possible? How far can you go? And when we coach teams, we talk about how many calls per week we want them to do, right? And so if I told you I wanted you to do, there's people on this webinar, don't hang up. I don't want them to get off. Don't panic. You know, people see 120 calls and they go, oh my God, how am I ever going to make 120 calls, right? But you're looking at the big house, not the little Lego blocks. So let's look at it this way. Calls per day, it's only 24 calls per day. Still seems a little bit heavy, right? Hours, we have 8 hours, 3 calls. Guys, 3 calls an hour. If you have a full-time salesperson, this is 3 calls an hour, even if they're not full-time. If you can make 3 calls an hour, you're hoping to at least get 100 calls per week. 100 calls per week, we would say would equal, we talked about 50 of those people, right? 50% of people you'll connect with. The other ones, phone number may be wrong. You may leave a voicemail. Nobody's there. It's busy. That still happens every now and then. And then you'll book between 5 and 25 events. It sounds crazy, but man, when we see this process followed and these numbers, it keeps you going. So that's just kind of an example of key performance indicators.
Definitely. And I want to jump in here because we did have a question that I'd love for you to answer.
Yes.
Following up can be annoying for the customers. What do you recommend to avoid this issue?
So I'm curious to know, because I think there's a little bit more in that question. So following up as far as just like they're not answering, or you're talking to them and you're continuing to follow up. So I'll go ahead and answer both of those, I guess, is probably the best way to do that. If you're calling and they have not, we definitely don't ever want to bug anybody. I'm never going to tell anybody to bug anybody. But if you've called and they haven't answered and you left voicemails and, you know, it's been going on and really, you know, we want to decide if they're a suspect or a prospect. And so we're going to, I'm telling you, this is going to seem like the silliest thing, but it works every time. If I call and say, and I have to leave another message, I'll say, hey, this is Kim from Trainertainment. I know it probably seems like I'm bugging you, but I just wanted to see if we were still on track for this event. And if not, then I just wanted to know and see what else I can do for you and move on from there. If it's that whole piece of saying, it probably seems like I'm bugging you. It's, I think it's Zig Ziglar that said, discuss a fear and disappear. Maybe John Maxwell, I can't remember, but I gotta say them both. If you say it, you know, and if you feel like you're bugging them, say it. I'm sorry I'm bugging. If it feels, don't say I'm sorry. Let me say that again. It may seem like I'm bugging you. Every single time I use that, somebody will call me back because, and there's a psychological thing there too, but it's a really good way to kind of knock that one out. The other thing is, if you're trying to get them and they go, I'm not ready yet, I'm not ready yet. Well, then we want to ask questions. You know, I totally get it. When would be a good time? When do you think you'll be ready for this to sign this? Because I don't want to keep having to hassle you about it, you know, or bother you or bug you. Ask them and say, great, if I don't hear from you by September 30th, can I give you a call that next Monday? And most of the time, 9 times out of 10, they'll say, sure, that's fine. And then they know that if they don't call you, you're going to be calling them back. So the biggest thing there is you should not get off the call without having something set for the future. You want to have something set to go forth. We would always say, if somebody says that, try to schedule time with them. Great. What does next Tuesday look like before you get off the phone? Now, if they've given you a no, not right now, and you want to follow up with them in a couple of months, that's okay. But if you're trying to get something signed and move things forward, set a time for it. And if they won't set a time, say, great, if I don't hear from you by next Friday, I'm giving you a call on Monday. And you just smile through the whole thing. So I hope that answered a little bit more.
Thank you, Kim.
All right, so processes, man. Keeping those processes in place as you guys go through Q4 and into that holiday season, you know, it gets crazy. Everybody's running around, you're, pumping up your staff and getting more people in there to work. And so there's so many things going on. We've got to make sure that we keep our processes in place so that we can hit those 2020 goals. The first process is your sales process. And if you don't have a sales process, a specific sales process, a lot of S's, I'm giving you one right now. So we say PCQPC, it rolls off my tongue like nothing, but prospect, connect, qualify, propose, and close. So prospecting, that's your lead development, your lead generation, lead building. It's your new business development. It's looking at those new people that you want to bring into your business. Connection, I've been talking about it this whole time, I know, but it really is important. People buy from people. You may have heard that from Trainertainment or Beth Stanley. But people do buy from people. They buy from people they like and trust. And so we really want to really connect. You know, I said it before. I know I keep repeating myself, but it's so important. Great selling is about helping people and building relationships. And the connection piece is my absolute favorite part of selling, because it's amazing. Everybody's got something. You can learn something from everybody. Qualify. Those are the questions we're asking to find out what the customer needs and sell them that. Okay. It just really is. That's what we want to do. We want to find out what their needs are and sell them a solution to that. We want to help them fix their problem. Remember, great sales is about helping people. So we want to do that. We don't want to propose anything to them until we know what they need. So we've got to ask those questions. And then propose is a big one. We're always sending, proposals out, or putting something together for someone. And my biggest advice here is set that time when you speak to someone and you go through that connection and you find out what they need, and you say, hey, I'm gonna put something together for you, and then can we meet on Thursday at 10 a.m. and we'll review this together? Because when you review it with them, you will be able to overcome the objections right there. Hopefully we've gotten rid of most of those by finding out what they need and finding out their tolerance to spend and the decision maker and all those things as well. But being able to review it with them is a huge piece, and it will actually speed up your sales process, and your customer will appreciate it as well. So definitely setting a time to do that. We've all done it where we send it and we say, let me know if you have any questions. And we know they're going to have questions, and we know we have the answers. So why would we do that? Right? Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes they say, just email it to me. And you gotta go, okay, well, not outside my sales process, but I'll work with you. So, and then closing is a huge piece. That's how we make sales, right? The only people that are afraid to close a sale are salespeople. Everybody that calls and is talking to you in your business about day parties, about group events, they're gonna book somewhere, guys. I promise you. If they're calling, they're booking somewhere. So we want them to book with us. All it is the next step in the process. So, Cam, if everything looks good here, we've got everything ready for Eileen's birthday party. If all I need from you is to sign this proposal, send it back to me with the deposit, and we'll get this set up for you. And that's really all it is to close a sale, is giving them the next steps in the process. So I love this. This is my favorite thing ever, guys. It is staying with the sales process is so important, because we don't want to pitch slap anyone. Okay. Pitch slapping is when we make it about us and not about our customer. And that's when we go in because we know we've got to make sales and we've got to do these things. And we go, hi, I'm Kim, and this is what I can do for you. And it's going to do great. And this is what you're going to get. And this is how it goes. And then they're like, I don't even I don't know what you're talking about. But that's pitch slap. We've all been pitch slapped, right? By somebody that has called us and tried to tell us what we need and almost shame us into buying something. A guy showed up at my door the other day talking about solar panels, which I'm not against solar panels. I'm just against going into debt for millions of years for solar panels. So they tried to make me feel bad about it. So that's not, I might have given him some sales tips, but that's it. So, so during that sales process is going to be what's going to fill your pipeline. A pipeline, in case anybody doesn't know, is a proposed, and don't feel bad if you don't, because lots of people don't know. But a pipeline is anything you have out there that's proposed but not closed. So you definitely have to continue to build your pipeline. I'll put myself out there and tell you that last year I had an amazing Q4. It was wonderful. It was great. I did a lot of, it's IAPA for us. So we do a lot, but guess what? I didn't focus as hard on building my pipeline, and Q1 ended up being spent building my pipeline back up, not making sales. And so it is really important that you continue to focus. You're going to have some rough weeks in Q4 because people are out and you're not going to you just got to keep going. You got to keep calling. You've got to keep calling new business. Follow up with these people and ask for the referrals, and that'll be the easiest way to continue to build it, which I just answered the why is it important. So take a look, today or maybe this week or next week at your pipeline, and what does that look like? We really would suggest that it should be at least 3 times what your goal is. So if your goal is $100,000 to sell in Q4, then you should have at least 300,000 in your pipeline right now. So it gives you an idea of what to look at. What we do today and over the next 30 days, so between now and the end of October, will predict the future of your business in the next 3 months, for the next 3 months. So think of it that way. Like that's how important it is to build your pipeline. So it's such a big piece for this. And so I just wanted to make sure I made that pretty big deal. So in order to build that pipeline, we've got to make sure that we're time blocking to build new business. And again, remember, you're going to be so busy. You're going to have all these things going on and running around. You've got to time block. You want to mark off time specifically for prospecting and building new business. So this is Mark Hunter. He says 25% of your time should be spent prospecting and new business development. We would say that if your business, if you want to narrow it down, I guess drill down a little bit further, if you sell alcohol in your business, 40% of the time, so we'll say in a week, if you're making 100 calls, 40 of those calls should be to companies and businesses, adult groups, okay? 30% of your time, we would say, spend on youth groups, your Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, daycares, those types of business, schools. 30% or 20% of your time with churches. Man, churches will, those get in touch with the youth director and you're golden. There's all kinds of things that churches do. I even have locations that have church in their building, right? So you never know. And then 10% on fundraisers. And I know a lot of people will say fundraisers are people calling and asking for something. But what a great way for you to say, I would love to help you out, but here's something extra. Let's have a celebration party at our facility at the end of your fundraiser, and then give a percentage back to them. It tops off their fundraiser and brings more people into your building. So don't think that fundraisers aren't great ways to bring people into your building, into your center. And again, that new business development that it brings, we look at group sales, and if 50% of those people come back to your center one time, your bottom line is growing like crazy. So go ahead, Rebecca. It looks like you're
Kim, I had to jump in here since you're talking about Mark Hunter. I absolutely love him. I actually interviewed him for a podcast. And
Did you really?
He's the nicest guy ever.
But
if you're looking for someone to follow, we were talking about LinkedIn before, follow Mark on LinkedIn, because he posts literally every single day. He travels almost every day of the year, and he'll just take videos of himself in the airport, and it's just all inspirational. Yep. It'll be for 30 seconds, and he'll just give you that kind of the inspiration that you need to keep going.
He is awesome. I went to an outbound prospecting productivity or whatever conference. It was awesome. I got to meet him. He's actually really tall. That surprised me. I don't know why, but it did. And I have an autographed book. I kind of fangirled on him, but
awesome.
But he's really awesome. And we also suggest to our teams as well to follow him on LinkedIn. That's another valuable thing with LinkedIn.
Exactly.
So definitely want to do that. And that's what I was talking about with creating a non-negotiable target market strategy to spend your time wisely. If you're just flipping through a phone book, that's a book that used to have phone numbers in it. I know a lot of people don't know what that is, but if you're going through the internet looking for businesses in your area to call, let's focus it down. 40 adult groups, 30 youth groups, 40, 30, 20 churches, and then 10% on fundraisers. And sometimes those fundraisers are just the call-ins, but maximize that. I mean, be excited about it. I think, sales is a lot like improv, right? You just got to roll with it and react the way that people are what they're looking for. Meet them there, but sell them what they need. So this is talking about time management is a big piece. And this is just a quick exercise, and I'm more than happy to send this stuff to you, Rebecca, if you want to. But when you're trying to figure out where you need to go and what you need to get done, and create this little matrix in a notebook and say, what is important and urgent? And this is just an example. Outbound sales calls, that sometimes salespeople will put those at the bottom of the list, right? Because they've got to answer the phone. They've got to respond to emails. They've got to do that. That's why time blocking at 25% of your time is really important. Important, not urgent, answer the phone. So answering the phone for sales is really important. It's not as important. Maybe there's someone else in your business that's better to be answering the phone for general questions, right? Writing agreements, we got to do that. We sold it. Now we got to really sell it. So newsletter follow-up, we want to follow up with people. This is an example, so it's not, but things that they have to do. Important, not urgent, customer issues. Maybe that's an operations thing, just leading me, but researching leads. People will spend hours looking for leads. That's why you got a time block. Give yourself a certain amount of time to get those calls done. Important, not urgent, personal, Facebook, Amazon, shopping, right? I know we all check our Facebook and stuff. I'll put myself out there too. But we've got to make sure that we're getting all the other things done first.
And speaking of time management, sorry to interrupt you, Kim. Speaking of time management, we've got about 2 minutes. So
oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I'll flow fast here. This is a big piece. So I've got a handout that I'll send to you as well. The operational time versus sales time. This is such a big thing. If you're pulling somebody out of sales for operations, you're losing money by the minute. So if an average group party is $800 and your salesperson sells 10 events per week, they're making about $8,000 for your business a week. That's about 40 hours, I'm clicking, is about $200 an hour. So for every hour you have them out of a sales seat, you're losing $200 an hour. So we have this sales process from hello to goodbye, which goes through the salesperson's job, through operations and the communication there. And I'd be happy to send that to anyone if they're looking for it, or send it to you, Rebecca. It's really helpful. And I apologize. I told you I talk a lot.
Yeah, shoot it to me. I'll send it in the follow-up email.
But now what we definitely, and I know we had a poll question, but we don't have to do it if you don't want to. But we want to make sure now that you've done all your prospecting and your lead development and your new business development, we want to know, what do you do with that? Do you use a CRM? Oh, you did throw it out there. Do we use a CRM? Is that what we definitely, we would suggest that you do a customer relationship management. We use Zoho. There's a bunch of different ones out there. That's how you're going to be able to track. I used to say it was the hit by the bus thing, but now it's you won the lottery and you don't need to work anymore. So if you have them all written down in a notebook, a lot of times that goes with the salesperson when they leave, and you lose all of those connections. So a CRM is definitely necessary. I'd be happy to provide any more information about that. And then just motivating yourself at the end of the day, writing down what your goals are for the next day and what you want to do. Remember, don't think about what's happening in a year. Think about, we do, but what can you do with those tiny little Lego blocks for the next day to head towards your goal? So sorry, I didn't have to rush that much though. Oh, what is a CRM?
There you go. Yeah, we had 42% of people wanted to know, what is a CRM? So spill it.
Yeah, a CRM is, I think I'm saying that, it's a customer relationship management. There's a couple different, but it is a system that is used to put all of your leads. You log your calls, you log notes about the calls and what you talked about. A lot of the systems you can actually create proposals and invoices through, but it's a tracking system. And it's a tracking system so that anybody could come into your business, get back in, if you had to replace a salesperson or something like that, be able to get in and just pick up where the other person left off. It's a great system to track all kinds of things. I know you're tracking through Center and whatnot, but with your lead management and your customer management, it's a tool that is necessary, I would say. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, sorry. I push feedback every time. From customer information to company information to deal information. I'm curious, those of you that said that they do have a CRM, throw in the comments, the chat or in the questions, what CRM do you use? I'm curious on that. I don't know about you, Kim.
Yeah, I am. We use Zoho. I absolutely love it. I used Salesforce before, and it was really big and it's really robust and it's great for huge companies. For smaller companies, I would say something like Zoho, HubSpot, those types of CRMs are really good.
I just want to add in too that there's an add-on that you can use for your regular email. So it can track whether they've seen it, whether they've opened it. And so, kind of like you said, not only if someone's writing in a notebook and all those sales kind of go with them, if you have the CRM, not only do you still have those contacts, you're able to see where they were in the sales process, when's the last time someone touched base with them. And so it really lets you keep track of all your prospects and customers to be able to follow up and regain those connections with them.
Definitely.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kim.
We've got a couple here: Salesforce, Fresh Sales, Triple C, Gather, a couple different ones in here. I like to call my CRM my second brain, because that's where I keep notes on things that I am never going to remember, or hope I remember. And then when it comes a month later, 2 months later, 6 months later, little details that you don't remember. So having a CRM is a really great place to store those thoughts.
Yeah.
All
And
right,
most of all, let you set tasks and reminders too, so they can remind you to call someone back or follow up with someone.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and move us into questions. Kim, thank you so much for all of the awesome information that you've given us so far. Folks, if you have questions, now is your time to ask Kim while she's on here. Also, Kim, I'm just going to remind you, please shoot me that sheet. A couple people have asked about it.
Absolutely.
And I will include it in the follow-up email. The follow-up email will go out tomorrow once we receive the recording from the cloud. We push it out to you guys. So that will go out to you tomorrow morning.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'll definitely get that. As soon as we're done here, I'll get it over to you.
Woohoo. And anything else, any of the other slides that you think would be valuable for folks?
Okay, I will. I'll look back through it.
Awesome. All right, guys. Any questions? Let's see. Is there a software you guys recommend for doing memberships? Someone asks.
Man, that's a question that keeps coming up. I don't really have a good answer for that right now. Memberships is kind of a newer thing to our industry, right? Like, so many people are starting memberships, and so I'm sure there will be. So keep an eye out. As soon as I find something that's out there that's working well for people, we'll move forward. I don't know if Rebecca, you have a good answer for that.
I know Megan does.
I see people use, what is it, Push Force or Push, let me look it up. We can put it in the chat tomorrow, but it's basically a recurring, almost like a gym membership that's a monthly fee. But I do know that they take some percentages of your membership fees. So it's kind of like Kim said, it's hard in this style of an industry just to have a recurring, being able to store someone's credit card details. So.
You can also sell packages, right, Megan? A lot of people do a 3-month package or a 6-month package, things like that.
And they pay ahead of time. That's really where we see the most benefit, because then you just track whether or not which child's a member, that kind of thing. Good point, Beck.
Absolutely.
Right, and that you can do within our software. You can put at the customer status, you can put that they're a membership, and then you can also have them pay for that on the online store. So it's very doable in one software if you're using our software, for sure.
That's what Wiley just said. They use WorldPay for recurring billing, and then PCS for.
Definitely. This is more of a question for Kim. We were talking about sales calls earlier and calling people, and someone had asked, how often do you recommend following up? Daily, weekly, monthly? When does it become counterproductive or annoying to the customer? So do you have a recommendation for cadence as to when outreach should be done? And I'm not sure if this person was specifically talking about customers that have been through the door asking for referrals or what, but I'll leave that up to you.
If it's somebody that you've spoken with and you've presented a proposal or something to, and again, we want to set up that time ahead of time. But if you haven't heard from them, you want to follow up. I would say 3 to 5 days for the first follow up, and then a week after that, and then I'd follow up a week until a month. And then you're going to spread out. The thing is, and you're absolutely right. Mark Hunter talks about suspects and prospects. And, suspects are people that are kind of leading you down a path of where they're just kind of leading you on. They're not answering your calls. They're not, are they really going to buy? And we really don't want to spend too much time on that. So you're going to continue, I would say for about a month, you'd call them, 3 to 5 days, then the next week, and then a week. And then I would start spreading it out a little bit more after that.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I want to invite you guys all to download this new resource that we just released this week.
Exciting.
It is our monthly events calendar. This is ideas for you guys for every single month of the year for events that you can run, as well as different ideas for promotion. So aside from just the birthday parties and perhaps the holiday events that you might already be planning, there are parties that you could throw every month of the year and promotions that you can throw. So if you jump onto this link here, partycentersoftware.com/events-calendar, you can download that, but I will also send this in the follow-up email tomorrow. So you can get a direct link to that, download this resource. Folks have already been pulling this down, which is really cool, and starting to plan their calendar for next year. So this will give you something to call about. It'll give you something to pick up the phone and talk about and share with people. Hey, we have a really great event coming up in March. April, May, June, July, you have one for every single year, month of the year.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you have any feedback or have any topics you'd like us to discuss, please be sure to email marketing@partycentersoftware.com. This podcast is a weekly podcast, so you can expect new episodes every Thursday. Party Center Speaks is powered by Party Center Software. We are a facility management tool that helps family entertainment centers and event venues book more parties and manage their facilities. We also offer marketing services such as custom website design and marketing automations to help you expand your reach and grow traffic. If you'd like to know more about us, head over to partycentersoftware.com and please be sure to give us a follow at Party Center Software on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and at Party Center Soft on Twitter. Until next time, thanks for listening.